Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a really simple Christmas card that can easily be transformed into a new home card, for example, depending on the sentiment that you're using. Since I am still lacking Christmas cards, I of course chose the Merry Christmas. But let's just first start with the coloring. I sent my images out on Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper, and I did that using the Gina Designs Amalgam ink Obsidian Black, and now I'm using my Copic markers to color everything in. Personally, I prefer going from darkest color to lightest, so that's what I'm doing here, but you can go in any way that you prefer because there are many ways to color with your alcohol markers or with your Copic markers. You do what feel comfortable, what gives you that end result that you like. That's the most important thing. Now, somehow I smeared the ink on the mushroom, so I didn't show you the coloring here because I'm doing that again after stamping it out again. But first I'm doing the gnome and the tiny mushroom, and then I will show you how I colored the house. So for today's colors, I thought to be very festive and bright. I wanted to use the red on the mushroom and the house. So therefore I decided to go with other bright colors on the gnome, being this teal blue greenish color and then some yellow orangey colors. Really vibrant, really lovely. As I showed you in the beginning of the card, it's a really simple one. I'm not doing anything fancy in the background. It's all about the images, so I'm really taking my time to get that blend and that shadowing that I want to let those images stand on their own. So if you're curious about Copic markers that I used, of course I'm showing them here, but if you want to revisit the combinations later on, then there is always my blog post where you can find everything listed for each part of the images or each color combination that I used. And then here, as I said, I'm going for a really warm orangey yellow kind of shirt. Really festive in my opinion, because if you would have painted stars, then this could have been a color for stars or whatever you wanted to have as light. And I'm also of course using a bit of yellow to get that glow inside of the how do you call it? It's not a lantern because it's in his hand. Well, you know what I mean, the light source that he's holding. I'm just giving it a bit of a soft yellow glow, and then I can continue. Also, I decided to go with a very bright and colorful, cheerful red that I already used in the past, I'm sure of it. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to use another colored cardstock to give this card more a festive look, and so with the bright red I could use a really bright red as cardstock for on the edges. I'm not going to add any coloring on the snowy parts because there I'm going to add some NUVO crystal drops, something that I really like adding whenever I have snow on my cards. It's a lovely way and it really represents snow in my opinion, so that's also a reason why you don't have to color that. And then here on the mushroom, on the house, I decided to go with a bit of contrast but also a bit of interest on the house, so that's why I went with my darkest color and drew in some extra lines to sort of have it more realistic. I have no clue, but I just did something and I really like how it turned out. So that's what I did. And I'm working my way from E53 to E50 with E51 as my mid-tone, and I'm just flicking a bit here. And on the house, of course, I will work from wherever I added the darker color. I have to blend it out with my mid-tone, and then I will see where I end up and maybe add some more if I need to. So from time to time when you are ink blending, well, with your markers and just getting the blend that you want, it sort of dilutes the first marker that you added, so that's why I immediately went back with the E53, because I found that it was already disappearing quite a bit by adding the E51, so therefore I went back in there. You can add as many layers as you want to. Personally, I notice that I need at least 2 layers, but from time to time I add way more. Like here I'm going for my 3rd layer, just to have it a bit more present, that darker color, until I like it. And then of course I have to take on those other colors again, so that I can blend it out and have that lovely transition between all of my markers. So it was really all about building up the layers here and just continuing until I was happy with the end result, which I sort of was once I had my 3rd layer on there. Then for the door and for the window thingy, I went for a darker brown because I wanted it to stand out a bit more from the rest, and but I'm keeping it really simple. It's only two markers, I think, for this combination. You can choose as many markers as you want to. Of course, when you have a larger area and you have more markers, it's a bit easier to fill it completely and also have the different depth that you want to. But if you don't have a lot of markers of a certain color or anything like that, you don't need to have necessarily 3-4 markers. It depends on the size of what you're coloring, and of course there is also a tip to tip if you don't have a mid-tone. That can always help you as well. Then on this part I also went a second time to just have it a bit more present, that E53, and just flicking here to get that easy blend. So as I said, this is a lovely house, so if you want to, or if you need to have cards for a new home, then definitely this layout works perfectly. If you prefer adding a background, you can easily blend a gorgeous background with some inks if you want to, or you can use your markers if you're up for that. There are many ways to create this card on your own, to make it something specifically you, and depending on the occasion you can just have fun with sentiments that you're using. I also think, for example, for a birthday you can also get one of the gnomes with the presents, and just, well, it can be that you're waiting outside to give the present to the birthday one, so why not? There are many ways to, by just changing the sentiment or maybe the image, create an all other card with the same basic idea. I think that's also one of the beauties about clean and simple. Most of the time there is a lot of room even to make things your own. You can always add more to a clean and simple card. It's whatever you prefer. I think there is also beauty about the simplicity of a clean and simple card, and just let it do its job by just standing out as much as possible. So I used the matching dies to die cut this, and normally I would first assemble the card and all those things, but I was too impatient and I started adding all of the details on top of my images. Now I did that, I really love this snow, but I did that, and then of course I was stuck because there was just too much liquid to be able to adhere this properly. The advantage of doing this ahead of time is that my card wasn't bugged afterwards because of the liquids. So I did this and then I let it sit for a night. So yeah, it had to dry quite a bit. Definitely these NUVO crystal drops, I don't know if it's really made with the purpose of doing these large areas, but I really love it. It's the perfect snow on top of elements, and I don't have to worry about a bit of shading or anything like that. The drops are doing that for you. So I'm just fixing some areas using my craft knife, and then I'm also going to add some Stickles and some glossy accents to finish off the rest of the images. And then, as I said, I let it set for a while, well, a whole night, and then the next morning I continued with the rest of the card, which was really simple. So let's do that. Luckily we can edit it all out and you don't have to wait 24 hours. Well, it was only a night, but I didn't start immediately the next day, of course. So for the background, I took the A2 layers die from Waffle Flowers and I cut out a slightly smaller panel than an A2 size, and then I took my post-it tape and I was just going to mask off a bit of grounding and then use cracked pistachio distress inks to add on top. I personally chose to add some sort of a sky and let the illusion of the grounding be there. Maybe a snowy hill, you never know, because I'm not adding anything over there. But if you prefer adding grounding and just adding, and just leaving the sky up for guesses, you can do that as well. And as I said, you can create a gorgeous, crazy, gorgeous background as well if you want to. Anything is possible. I sent out a Merry Christmas, but again, you can change it to New Home or anything like that. And then I adhered this red paper on top of my card base. This one was Poppy Red from Concord and 9th. Crazy gorgeous, and it matched perfectly with my red on the rest of my images. Now I'm adhering with some big Momma foam tape, my panel on top. And then I am going to add these images. Really simple. The house is going straight on there using some liquid glue. And then the other elements I will add using some thin foam squares. And then you can again choose to embellish more if you want to. There is enough space to add sequins or anything like that, or more NUVO drops if you want to. I decided to not add anything in the end. I contemplated, but I didn't do it in the end because I wasn't convinced about the things that I tried out. And also the NUVO drops on the house and on the mushroom and then the Stickles and the glossy accents. I thought, well, actually all those tiny details that I already added to those images are quite enough to let these elements all shine. And so I decided to not add anything more. But you definitely can. There are many ways to change this card. Totally up for you, for your preferences. But I really like it like this. So that is my card for today. Really simple. Again, you can recreate this for other occasions as well, which is kind of nice. But this is my card for today, and I hope that you love it as well, that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time to watch this video. I truly appreciate that. I wish you all an incredible day, and I'll be back soon. Bye!